Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
And I'm Barbara Lee Edwards. There is a fraud alert tonight regarding debit cards issued by the State Employment Department. Unemployed workers are reporting unauthorized withdrawals from their Bank of America accounts.
As News 8's David Goffredson reports, EDD confirms that many accounts have been frozen.
I had went to the bank to withdraw money from my EDD account, and it said I reached my daily limit.
Brandon Burkhofter is one of many unemployed workers who had money fraudulently taken out of his EDD bank account.
Down $1,000, the next day $1,000, next day $1,000.
Bank of America has an exclusive contract with the state of California to handle unemployment benefits through special B of A debit cards. About a month ago, people started reporting losing money they desperately need. Tatiana Solorzano lost more than $1,000.
It was around the time rent was due. October 2nd, you know? I was like, oh my God, that money got pulled out right when my rent is due.
Gail Gortson lost $4,000.
From the ATM of Bank of America, $1,000 was drawn 4 days in a row.
Oh,
After the victims report the thefts, they say they get locked out of their accounts.
Your whole account is frozen. Frozen, period. You can't get your own money.
Bank of America says it is working closely with EDD in an aggressive effort to fight fraud. EDD confirmed more than 350,000 debit card accounts have been frozen due to suspected fraud. Steve Meringue is a certified fraud examiner.
Fraudsters were able to capture the data of those cards, of those people, their accounts, the card numbers, and any other information they needed in order to produce a duplicate card.
He says the EDD cards make stealing your information especially easy because unlike regular debit cards, they don't have a chip.
By having the chip, you have your information that's on the card encrypted in the chip, and it makes it more difficult, especially to duplicate the cards, whereas the magnetic strip, that's 30, 40-year-old technology.
We emailed Bank of America and they said there has been no data breach with their EDD debit card accounts. So what led to this fraud still remains unclear. Carlo?
So David, if people find money missing from their EDD bank account, what do they need to do?
Well, you can report it to EDD, you can report it to Bank of America, but what's going to happen is Bank of America, if they find fraud, they're going to freeze that account. You're going to have to wait for an investigation, and then they're going to issue you a new card. But what you can do is if you get EDD funds transferred to that debit card, transfer them out right away into your own personal banking account, and that way you don't have money sitting in that EDD account.
Some good advice to prevent a bad situation from getting much worse. David Goffredson reporting live. Thanks, David.
San Diego homicide detectives are investigating tonight what appears to be human remains discovered in a fire pit on Fiesta Island.
The remains were found late this morning on the eastern end of Fiesta Island. News 8's Shannon Handy has the latest tonight from investigators.
San Diego police were called out to the scene here at 10:30 this morning. The man who found those remains says he was simply cleaning up after what looked like a party. Now it's a homicide investigation.
It's got to be somebody's family. I'm missing somebody somewhere.
A disturbing scene on Mission Bay's Fiesta Island Thursday after a man discovered what he believes are human remains inside a city-owned fire pit.
I saw that they had a really big fire. I mean, it was very large. That's when I noticed, when I was cleaning up, is when I noticed what I saw in there, and you could tell it was a body and it didn't burn up all the way. I could tell by the teeth and the skull. Appeared to be male.
It happened around 10:30 a.m. He stopped to clean up the area, saying there was trash and other items scattered everywhere.
Shoes, a hat, clothing there, mainly trash.
He flagged down a lifeguard who in turn called San Diego police.
An image of those remains were sent to a forensic anthropologist who also believed they were possibly human in nature. Investigators from the San Diego Police Homicide Unit were called to the scene to handle the investigation. They will be doing the investigation in conjunction with members of the Metro Arson Strike Team and the medical examiner's office to determine if the remains are in fact human in nature and the circumstances around their discovery here.
Detectives evacuated the area and blocked off a large portion of the island to investigate. They're looking at everything from tire tracks to debris, but haven't said how long the remains appear to have been there.
I'm not going to disclose it this time just to protect the integrity of investigation.
Meanwhile, the news came as a shock to visitors who say the discovery is alarming.
It's a shame, you know. It's a little gruesome, a little alarming, not a little, but a lot. To know that that happened to somebody is really, I'm quite shook over it.
Now, of course, it will take some time to determine, one, if this is in fact skeletal human remains, and two, who this person is. We will, of course, keep you updated on this story.
Thank you, Shannon. 2 people are dead after a small plane headed for San Diego crashed in Las Vegas this morning. Clark County fire officials say the plane crashed just before 10, less than 10 minutes after taking off from the North Las Vegas airport. The 1974 Cessna was scheduled to fly to Gillespie Field. Both the pilot and passenger were killed and have not yet been identified. A group of San Diego Unified parents took to the streets in Mira Mesa today, along with City Councilman Chris Cate, pushing for a quicker return to in-person learning. This comes just days after the district unveiled its Phase 2 reopening plan.
I miss my friends, I miss my teacher, I don't get to play with my friends, I don't get to learn with them, I'm alone at home.
Under the plan, elementary students will go back to the classroom 4 days a week on January 4th, followed by middle and high school students on a part-time basis starting on January 25th. Many parents say that's too little too late, but the district says it is following guidance from the state public health department and experts at UC San Diego.
8 San Diego County gyms have filed a lawsuit against various state and local leaders. The lawsuit was filed in federal court on Tuesday. The gym owners claim these stay-at-home orders have hurt their businesses. Defendants include the governor, all 5 county supervisors, and the mayors of the cities where all the plaintiffs are located. Those plaintiffs are Boulevard Fitness in University Heights, which at one point defied orders from the city attorney to shut down. The others are Metroflex Gym in Oceanside, Ramona Fitness Center, Deadweight Strength in Grantville, Convoy Strength in Kearny Mesa, IB Fitness, and Being Fit in both Claremont and Mira Mesa. County officials report 358 new coronavirus cases today and 4 new deaths. 8 new community outbreaks were also reported for a total of 37 in the last week. That's well above the trigger level of 7. 3% of the latest 13,000 tests came back positive. The county's 2-week positivity rate is 2.8%, and we are still in the red tier with a case rate of 6.5.
We are now only 5 days away from November 3rd, and it was another busy day on the campaign trail for President Trump and Joe Biden. President Trump headed to North Carolina after rallying voters in Tampa, Florida. As Skylar Henry reports, former Vice President Biden is also campaigning in the battleground Sunshine State.
President Trump paid a visit to U.S. service members at Fort Bragg in North Carolina after a planned campaign rally in Fayetteville was postponed due to weather concerns. Earlier, the president played to key voters in Tampa, Florida.
We're going on to win a record share of the Hispanic American vote. You see what's happening?
Hours later, it was Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's turn in Tampa.
I believe when you use your power, the power of the vote, we literally are going to change the course of this country for generations to come.
A newly released Monmouth poll shows Biden with a slight lead among registered Florida voters. While the eyes of the nation are on the race for the White House, congressional leaders are weighing in too, with the balance of power on Capitol Hill also at stake November 3rd.
We are confident, we are calm, and we are prepared. We are ready.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi expressed confidence in the election and her party's nominee. During a campaign stop in Kentucky this week, Senate Majority Leader Republican Mitch McConnell expressed optimism about his own reelection, but didn't predict whether his party would maintain control of the Senate.
I've got a lot of people up, 23 Republicans, only 12 Democrats. There are dogfights all over the country. I've said for a year it's a 50-50 proposition. It still is.
The Democrats need to gain 3 Senate seats to retake control of the Senate. If Biden wins the White House, they'll need 4 seats if President Trump wins re-election. Skyler Henry, the White House.
More than 7 million people in Florida have already cast early ballots.
The city of San Diego is celebrating a record rate of citywide road repair. Mayor Kevin Faulkner says 1,700 miles of San Diego streets have been repaired since 2014. The mayor says just a decade ago, only 25 miles of road were fixed a year, and now the city does that much in a month. Another 100 miles is expected to be repaired by the end of the year.
Still ahead, there is a dress code to go vote.
What could get you turned away at the polls? A reminder of what not to wear if you're voting in person.
Well, your forecast for today, lots of sunshine, but you still had some haze out there. So for air quality tomorrow, that haze looks to stick around. Fires burning to the north of us, good to moderate. We'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast coming up.
The cleanup begins after Hurricane Zeta slams into the Gulf Coast. I'm Danya Backus in New Orleans with a look at the damage.